Beanie, is this the life? Yeah. Is this the life here on the southern Oregon coast? Yes, it is. Hi, this is Danielle, and this is gardening on the southern Oregon coast. And I wanted to show you a few things. This is my potato patch. And you can see just starting to come out of the ground. Some of them are a little harder to see because they're purple potatoes. I also have red potatoes, white potatoes, and yellow potatoes. Most of them are fingerlings, a few are not. That's my roseberry bush. Now what I'm over here to show you, it's kind of an awkward setup, but it's working for us for now. Eventually there'll be pipes underground, but for now we have these hoses and such going from this. This is my automatic watering system. It's great for people with health or memory problems like me. Now, this splitter here splits this one off to the chicken yard. I don't need a timer in the chicken yard. But this here, this one goes to the greenhouse. And this one here goes to the raised bed garden. And I have the greenhouse set to go off twice a day, once at 6 and once a.m. and once at 6 p.m. and to water for 15 minutes. And the other one right now is set to go off at 6:30 a.m. only. That's the one to the raised bed. And we really don't need it to be on. I set it for a minute. But we really don't need it to be on here on the southern Oregon coast yet because we get lots of rain this time of year, and it is rainier than usual this time of year. But this is a great little system here. Okay, so if we follow the... Oh, I have a doggy following me. Hi, Bean. This is Jumping Bean, otherwise known as Bean, or if we get silly, bean curd, refried bean. You get the idea. So follow me to my greenhouse here. I know all these hoses. Luckily, we'll be getting rid of them soon. We're just waiting for the spring rains to die down. So for now, just for now, we will have hose bibs coming up in the greenhouse area, the gardening area, and the chicken area. But for now, here's where my watering system comes in. And this is where it attaches to the hose. It can also attach to a spigot. And it comes in here. And the top run goes first down. The top run is a short one. This is an emitter. It's also a pressure regulating emitter. That's why it looks funky here on the end. And this is an Italian sweet roasting pepper. So the emitter brings the water pressure down to 1 gallon per hour, which is more than enough. You only run it for 10 minutes at a time, but if you let it run for an hour, that means a gallon would come out. So, and if you follow this short run, here's another hanging basket. This one with an Anaheim. Again, it's a slightly different emitter, but it has the same purpose. I just had the other ones left over from another kit here. And again, follow it once more. And this is my mini chocolate bell sweet pepper. And it's already got little baby peppers growing on it. There's a couple. And then to end this run, it just folds over and caps off. And then I can unfold it and add more, or just pull off the end from here and add more. These are T-sections here. So, and then if you come back over to where it comes in, follow this down. Notice even here, I don't have a really, just a curved angle. I'll explain that more in a minute. No 90-degree angles. This is a horseradish plant here with a little emitter. These are pumpkins. I'm going to choose the healthiest ones to keep. And they're Amish pie pumpkins. They actually do really well in the greenhouse. I grow them up the trellis. And then they can come right out the window and trail down the side of the greenhouse. So this is a mist emitter. And it just makes sure if you have a mound, like a pumpkin mound here, that everything gets covered. And it's adjustable, so you can adjust the mister. Here's another mister here. These are my patio cucumbers. In the past I've done lemon cukes, wanted to try something a little different. Next year I may even try English cucumbers in my greenhouse. I do love English cukes. So, but these are a bush cucumber. Okay, now we go back to spot emitters, and these just, if you have one plant, especially one large plant like this, these get just right at the roots there. Now, if you can see here, this is the pressure regulator, and it's a 1 gallon per hour pressure regulator. And then this here at the end is just a bug guard to keep bugs from coming out, going in, I should say. And all three of these, I need to do weeding again, can you tell? I might leave some of the dill that's coming up, but I need to get rid of all those little baby tomatoes from last year. These are red currant tomatoes. And then you'll notice, again, no 90-degree angles in the greenhouse. Nice soft corners. Here's why. 90-degree angles significantly cut down your water pressure. Never, never, if you can help it, have 90-degree angles, especially on a longer run. Try to keep them, nice soft angles, and you won't cut down your water pressure. The reason is, when you, especially if you have a longer run like I do in this greenhouse, if your water pressure as it goes along gets lower and lower, and if you have something like I do as another mist emitter at the end, when I had 90-degree angles, I did not have enough pressure to run the mister at the end. Now that I took out the 90-degree angles, the mister at the end of my run has the same amount of pressure as the mister at the beginning of my run. So just a little advice there. The 90-degree angles do look nice. I had put in 90-degree angles when I discovered my issue, and they do make things look nice and neat, but they significantly cut down on your water pressure. All right, teaching over. If you see here, it comes down, past the tree. And if you look down here, this tree does go into the ground. So its roots do go down pretty far, but because it's in the greenhouse, so it gets a lot of heat, and it doesn't get any rainfall on its leaves or anything like that, I do supplement it with a couple of spot emitters here. You may find you don't need to, depending on how hot your area gets, or you may find you need something more than that for your tree, depending on how hot your area gets. But it works well here on the southern Oregon coast. This is my kumquat tree. See, and I keep it trimmed nice and narrow for the greenhouse. I'm expecting by next year to get some kumquat on this tree. Okay, so back to tomatoes. It comes around here, and these are all spot emitters again. Now these tomatoes are my Roma tomatoes, except for that one. That's another, I meant to put all the tomatoes of the same type on the same side, but just I oopsed, so that's another red currant tomato. Suppose it's not a big deal being in the greenhouse. I can't save seeds from these anyway because they'll probably crossbreed. There's probably no way to get around that in a greenhouse. But aesthetic wise, I meant to put all the tomatoes of the same type on the same side. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Again, these have spot emitters and bug guards. Now this here are miniature, they're called golden midget watermelons. And again, yes, I could do them right in the greenhouse. They come up here on the trellis, come up to the top, and they can just run along the top. And I use these clippies right here that came with my greenhouse. In fact, this needs to be clipped to that to keep it stable, which I will do. But these clippies I use along with soft rope to or string, oops, to just let them run along the top here. And again, it can go out the window if it needs to. So, and at the end of the run, there it is, capped off and plugged. A little talk about this. This is the tubing that's used. Let me get a good, there you go. Now, if you can see here, they look very different. This is the first tubing I bought in a cheap kit. It wasn't a brand name kit, so I can't tell you what it was. We got it at a discount store. And the issue with it is it's very pliable. It's much more pliable than the other stuff. In fact, if you see this, that bends quite easy. This stuff doesn't bend quite as well. So that's a big plus. It's about the same thickness, maybe a wee bit thicker. The good stuff is. And not that it's here nor there, but to identify it, it's also not as shiny. Now the thing about the cheap stuff that I really figured out and why you don't want to use it is when your greenhouse, my greenhouse got up to, and not even the hottest, it was a really cool day, but it got up to 87 the other day in the greenhouse, and this stuff started leaking around all these little T's right here. Any little connection started leaking around this thin stuff because it's so thin and it's so pliable that it started to relax in the heat, and you got terrible leaks, which really messes with your water pressure. It's not so bad. I mean, the leaks go right into the plants leak-wise. You're not wasting much water, at least in my situation, but you really cut down on your water pressure, and who wants a leaking system? So get rid of that stuff. Don't use it. Use this. Several name brands use this. My components are all from two different well-known companies that have the word rain in them. There's two different companies that make this good stuff. So, all right, use that stuff. So follow me outside and let's go to the regular garden. There's a dog again. Hi, Bean. Okay, we're going to come into this gardening area. And this is a dog-free zone because somebody, not to name any names, Bean, likes to dig in Mama's garden. This is my little pea patch, and it's just getting started. It's yellow because of too much rain right now. I added another drain hole to this. It had a couple in the bottom, but they might have rusted out. It's been a couple years. Okay, so this is my old watering system. Next video I have, you'll see the new watering system, because I'm just not crazy about this soaker hose for long runs. You don't get as much pressure at the end of the soaker hoses as you do at the beginning in this long run. So we're going to switch to a drip system as well. But soaker hoses, they're good in their own way, depending on what you're using them for. And I just found in this situation for me, you get more water at the beginning than you do at the end, and so these guys getting almost more than that water than they need, and at the end of the run not getting enough. So it's also may have to do with how I have it set up, but I don't have a good system for setting up things right now, so we're just gonna go to a drip system. Okay, that aside, this is my chard, rainbow chard, my kale, and that I grew these from the same seed as last year. That's my last year's sign. I bought them at the Grange and then saved the seed and grew them again this year. So that is an accurate sign for this type. I probably can't read it from here. It's Lacinto Rainbow Kale. Lacinato. This is my rhubarb. Hi, ladies. Hi, Marshmallow. And here is my spinach patch, which is doing quite well. Things are a little buggy. I need to put some more Safer Soap out here. I organic garden, and Safer Soap is okay for organic gardening. So now, in amongst the kale, in amongst the spinach is some cabbage. Now I did get these at the Grange. The spinach I grew from seed, but I got the cabbage at the Grange, and it's called an all-season blend. I had to look at my sign over there. And so there's a various different types of cabbage here growing. And coming right along here. I haven't mowed in the garden area, as you can see yet, or weed whacked as the case may be. This is a lettuce blend I grew from seed last year and saved the seed from for this year. And tucked in amongst it are some conquistador celery that I got at the Grange here. So we'll have some nice fresh celery. Never grown celery before, incidentally, so we'll see how it goes. And this is an heirloom blend of carrots. They're just starting to come out of the ground. Not much to see here. This here, I didn't mean to plant so many plants in a mound, but now I'm going to have to kind of weed it out, thin it out, I should say. Nothing came up, nothing was coming up, nothing was coming up. So I got a multi-pack of summer squash, and there was just 3 in it, and the bugs got 1. So I'm like, 3 little plants, oh, I need more. I don't know why. So I got these scallop squashes, 2 of those, and planted those. And then the seeds finally started coming up that I thought had rotted in the ground, because it's been raining every day for the last 2 months, I think. So I thought they died. So now I have to kill some of these poor little seedlings to give the others room. And this is a zucchini squash. Now along the back here, those, until about right there, are all Oregon Giant beans. They're an heirloom variety. My mother used to grow. I'm 40. She used to grow these when I was just a little girl, between the ages of 2 and 9. She used to grow them out here. And then you couldn't find them because they came out with other hybrid varieties that kind of took over. But now they're starting to get popular again, as a lot of heirlooms are. And I was able to find them online. So it's really thrilling to grow something that my mother used to grow as an heirloom when I was a kid, that you can't find anymore. I hope it becomes much more popular. They're great beans. I love them to death. Now the rest of this is sunflowers. I don't generally try to roast them and eat them for myself. I'm not crazy about sunflowers seeds, but they are great for the chickens. You know, I filled your actual waterers. That's just rainwater. She doesn't care. And the chickens love them, and the regular birds that come around love them. So let me show you my fruit trees, and then we'll call it a day. Hi, Muffin. All right, let's come back here. We're thinking of adding another door into the garden right there so I can just walk through. Not that it's a big deal, but it'd be kind of nice. We'll see though. In the meantime, you have to go back into the front yard to come around to the chicken yard. Hi, Bubba. Yeah, are you following Mommy? Are you Mommy's little shadow, big boy? You Mama's little shadow. Here's the... I use this to prop open the gate. I better put it over here so I don't lose it. Ryan, take it back to the... Go back and put it with the other wood or something. Okay, the girls are molting, so they're looking rather straggly. Hi, Bob. This is Blueberry Bob, but we call her Bob because she's so manly. They're blue Andalusians, these two. And these are red sex links. That's Honey and Toast. All right. Got a lot of Easter eggers as well. But that is one of my bantam cochins. And she's got a mutation of her genes, which they call a frizzle gene, that makes her look like a little koosh ball because the feathers curl instead of lay straight. This is my well summer. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's my, Marin. I can almost talk today. Cuckoo Marin. And I've got another Cuckoo Marin, the black and white over here. They're all dust bathing. I'm gonna try not to get too close. So, and then Muffin, who you saw earlier, she is a, oh, I can't think of the name. I think she's a well summer. So, and then my speckled Sussex must be laying an egg. This is an apple tree, Granny Smith. And we originally put these cages around them to keep the deer and the elk that come through off of them, and to protect this one's bottom because it has calendula around the bottom. That's well, there's none coming up on this side, but on the other side. But as you can see, it's grown too big for these cages now. We're going to cut them out. We should have done it last year, but hey, cut them out and do something a little differently. And so you'll see that on one of the future videos that we do. And this is going to my mother-in-law along with some of these chickens. I have too many chickens, as you can see. Look at this poor yard, which I was clipping yesterday, so sorry for all the debris. This is what 18 chickens will do. They will decimate your grass, or just too many chickens for any area. I happen to have 18 in this little area. I took in some chickens after their owner moved and couldn't keep them anymore. And my sister-in-law is going to take them in another month, but they're still snowbound and they need to make a run. So I've had them for like 4 or 5 months now, maybe 5 or 6. Can't remember. I'm a terrible historian. And they've just decimated this yard. So I can't wait to get rid of the extra chickens. Hi, Licorice. This is my other Cuckoo Marin, and she's a bagger. She's a bagger. Right, Pepper? Yeah. Hi, Pepper. All right. This is a cherry tree. Montmorency, I think, is the type. It is a pie cherry because I love to do pies and preserves. And it does have cherries coming on. The blossom's already gone, but there are little miniature cherries coming on behind the dead blossoms. I know, I didn't bring any treats out for you ladies. so don't get too many chickens. Don't get too many chickens. Look at this poor yard. They're dust bathing everywhere instead of their designated spot. This is an almond tree, and it's only 4 years old, and at minimum, hi, why are you pecking my foot? That's not a treat. At minimum, they have to be at least 5 years old to produce almonds. Anywhere between 5 and 7 years old, you'll see your first almonds, is what I read online. So, and it's only 4 years old. So, no almonds this year. It's called a hardy almond. So, it was actually rated for my zone. Not many almonds are. So, we are zone, depending on who you talk to, we're either zone 8 or 9, I think. But most people agree that we're in, I think that we're in zone 7. Okay, this is a plum tree. So we'll get plums off of that. Now this plum tree was planted 12, 15 years ago by my husband's father, and so we don't know what type of plum tree it is, and he doesn't remember anymore. But it does produce nice little plums. Okay, so we'll see you next week with a new video, and hopefully we'll have done some more work in the yard, barring rain. Yeah, like I said, it is a very rainy time of year, so if you come back and not much more is done, that's why. All right, this is Danielle on the Southern Oregon coast saying goodbye.